In today's episode, we're going to be speaking about within your industry, the home care industry, the major reasons that you have within your business to why you have employee turnover rates and it's very high, and how this affects your business. So make sure you stay tuned because you do not want to miss this episode.
We was reading an article and it was talking about what was it
The
again?
high turnover rates within the home care industry.
Yeah.
Basically, they hire staff and then next thing you know, they quitting within less than 100 days. They're not staying, with the company.
And what was that percentage rate that they said it was overall?
So overall, the turnover rate is at 80%, and within the last 2 years, it went up 12%.
Another 12.
So overall, but it went up 12%, making it the total 80%.
So it's showing that it's something that they are doing within their industry.
Right.
Something is wrong.
Yeah, something is wrong. They definitely need to look deep within to see what is the problem that they need to fix within the industry. Why do they have a very high turnover rate? That's 20% from 100%.
I didn't even think of it like that. So it's like
20 points
for
from 100.
every 10 people that you hire, 8 of them they gone.
Yeah, that's a lot. So you only can keep really a good 2. That's a big problem.
So anybody in the industry is the home
care agent, whoever is a home care agency owner, this is who is affected.
So if you are in that industry, write in the comments like how is your employee retention rate?
Employee turnover rate.
And turnover rate.
Yeah.
Let us know if this is affecting your company. So what we should talk about is like some points on what should what point should we hit on?
So I think we should hit on points when it comes to the turnover rate.
What's causing?
Yeah, what's causing that? So I'll start like this. One thing that I have actually noticed within this high turnover rate with the home care industries from my experience was working with my clients is that they like to start by paying their employees a very high wage, right? Mm-hmm. So they feel like it gives them a competitive edge.
Yeah.
But even then, when they pay them this very high wage, they still are not able to keep them. They can't retain them. So they still leave. So it shows that there is an underlying issue that's not being addressed.
So by them paying them a very high wage, they trying to be competitive.
Right. They're trying to be competitive.
So by them paying them that, it's like, okay, I'm paying them this amount so I can keep my employees.
Right.
But still within that, it's not even helping them.
Right. It's not helping them because, so this is what I will say.
Uh-huh.
As an employee, you got to think back to when you were an employee. How did you feel working for that particular company? Was it just the pay that made you feel good? Or was it that kind of sense of community, that you provided within the company, made them feel a part of? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you kind of got to look a little deeper. I'm trying to go a little too deep, but you got to look deeper within than just, okay, I'm going to pay them $20 an hour. You know what I mean? Oh, that's going to keep them. That's not going to keep them because they're going to look at the next place. Okay, they paying 21. Well, I'm going to go here and I'm going to take the $21 an hour. And then, a dollar difference. What is something you could be doing right now that makes all the difference to keep them? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I want to stay on the high pay.
Right.
Because, in the healthcare industry, a lot of them, like from what I recognize, they have a caring heart.
Yes.
So they look at it as, man, I was once that an employee and I felt like I should have been paid that much.
Right.
So they look at it as they want to pay them that much to keep their employees because of that 80%.
Right.
And then also, they like, man, they got to live off of something, but it's hurting them in the long run.
Right.
So the businesses that you've been dealing with,
mm-hmm.
Have they been having that issue like that's in that industry, like your particular
they're very caring?
They're caring, but are they overpaying the staff to try to retain them because of that 80% turnover rate?
Right. They're definitely overpaying the staff. overpaying them. And the big thing is you're in the home care industry. So by nature, if you really care for what you do and for the clients you work with, for the people that you bring into your company, you're going to have a caring heart, and you're going to want to pay them, such amount of money for the work that they're doing, because they're doing housekeeping, they're cleaning, they're taking care of the client, they may be bathing them. So it may be different things that they be doing. Okay, they deserve to make more. Which is fine, but you have to look at it. How much is that particular client paying your company?
So can you go in, like, what do you mean by that? Like, how much is that client paying your
So
company?
your staff, because we're talking about employee turnover, right? And you want to pay them $17 an hour, just
Yeah.
for an example. And then you have a client that's paying you $23 an hour.
Client meaning who?
The client that you have for home care agencies, their clients are who the staff is taking care of.
Okay.
Right? That's what they call them, their clients, right? So the client paying you 23 an hour, and then you're paying your employee 17 an hour. The agency is only making what, $6?
Yeah, they
$5 or
they
$6,
left with $5.
right? If that, because then you got to factor into expenses. So when you look at your profit drivers, your profit is affected, and your cash flow tremendously when it comes to that high pay for your employees.
So they are paying them. So you offer that patient or client that they have, they're getting paid $22 an hour. They're paying the employee 17.
Right.
So they're left with $5.
Right.
And then so they have to think about expenses.
Right. Expenses.
Taxes.
Yeah, that's
so
a big
after
one.
all those things, what are you really left with?
Exactly.
And you did all that to try to keep your employee, and then also but it just affects your business. You were saying something about drivers.
Yeah, it affects their business because, okay, the agency, let's say after everything, the agency gets $5. But then after the agency get that $5, then the agency has expenses. And let's just say half of that goes to expenses. So after you pay the expenses, and let's just factor taxes into that expense, and then you left with your cash flow. So you telling me you're going to pay yourself $2. You're going to be getting paid that $2 an hour. That's going to be your pay for your cash flow.
So how is it, like, okay, when I'm hearing this, do those owners, do they have problems with paying themselves? I mean,
Yes.
$2. I'm doing all of this.
Right.
I'm paying my employee $17 an hour. Now I got to pay the government all this money, and then I got all these expenses.
Right.
How do I pay myself?
How do you pay yourself from that situation?
In that situation,
it's going to be hard because you have to go back, and now we have to reevaluate the business and how it's structured, how it's performing, what needs to happen. We really have to take a look at the business, because now some things is upside down, right? Because you're not able to take home a lot of money because it's going to payroll, and then you're not charging your clients enough, depending on the location and depending on who your niche is when it comes to the home care agency. Some people niche in hospice, some people niche in Alzheimer's.
There's so many different
ones. So it just depends on where you niche at when it comes to that particular industry and what the market rates look like. I know we're kind of talking about different stuff, but that's overall.
But it all ties into
it affects
all this, like this one issue within this industry, trying to keep an employee, and you're trying to be competitive. And then it's like, okay, in order for me to be competitive, to keep my employee, I have to pay a little bit more than what I'm expected.
Right.
But somehow I'm still not able to retain them.
Right.
And I'm paying all these taxes, and I'm not getting paid anything.
Right.
So the thing is, how do you come in? Like, what? Have you ever helped anyone fix that issue?
Yeah, of course. So, the home care agencies that we work with now, one of my clients, she had this very issue where she had, her staff, her employees, she's paying them a high dollar wage.
Right.
And so when I look, I'm like, okay, we got problems here, because this is the reason why our cash flow is little to none. We have a little to none cash flow. Guess what? She can't live off the business. So what does that mean? That means she's going to have to shut down the business and go back and get a job.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Not saying nothing is wrong with it, but she didn't build that business to go back to get a job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So then it was like, okay, well, we have to put things in place to solve this problem. What can we do? We already bite the bullet that you're paying these employees already at this amount. So when we bring in new hires, we're going to have to fix that. You see what I'm saying? We're going to have to implement different systems, different processes, to be able to retain them. We need to see what the problem is, why they're not
so you was
staying.
able to dive in, and then you was able to help her fix that issue.
Yes. So with the next hire or two that she did, we actually was able to drop down a wage and get another employee.
Okay.
Being an entrepreneur is so hard. There's always a new problem that you need to solve within your business, and it's always rooted to how can I make more money so that I can grow my business. But trust me, I know it's hard because of the many hats that you wear within your business every single day. I've helped countless business owners to solve this very problem with what I call profit, cash flow, and revenue drivers. These 3 key drivers are major to make your business move. This is truly the cheat code to making more money within your business. And if you see this working for you, schedule a call with me today by clicking the link below, within the description, or the comments. See you there.
So, I have another question. So what is the how long did it take to fix that issue?
It didn't take long. Actually, it took about 3 weeks, if that. So
only 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah. Because once you start looking at stuff as an advisor, once you start looking at different parts of the business and what's happening, and start implementing things to fix it, as she being the CEO, the owner, she can go right in there and make changes right away because she's the owner and she has other people running the other positions that need to be ran. So she's not focused on the day-to-day. You know what I mean? She's not wearing every hat in the business. So now she can address these issues. Because if she's wearing every hat, it's going to be harder to kind of address the issues when we come on board. But it can be done. It's just a matter of the amount of time that it'll take.
So by her being able to fix that one issue, like that, because we only named one so far. Because you probably know that there's plenty issues. The reason why worldwide in this industry that they're having an 80% turnover rate.
Yes.
So you just spoke on one.
Right.
And that was okay. It was, paying a little too much. And you understood why. It's like, because I have to be competitive to stay in the industry.
Right.
So what is another issue that you've been seeing that they've been having?
I'll say low pay, which is the opposite.
The opposite.
And no benefits.
So, can you expand on that?
So you may have some home care agencies where they're not paying their staff, their employees enough to where they feel like they need to go somewhere else. Because let's be honest, in today's environment, inflation is ridiculous, right? It's through the roof. Man, you buy food, you paying rent. I don't care what you said. That's a rent.
I didn't see chicken go down yet.
I didn't see it.
I mean, I'm being real with you. It's like the price of gold right now.
Listen, things are so expensive. I mean, it's just crazy when I think about the cost of. I was just telling, what were we talking about? I said, you want something? I said, because it's $11. Listerine is $11.
Listerine, just to, rinse your mouth, you know what I mean? You gotta pay that dollar. But and then it goes into, okay, that employer understands that, okay, things is high out here.
Right.
So I know that, I got to get them to come over here and work with these people. And then the type of clients that they got to deal with. Because, man, to be honest, in that industry as an employee, you dealing with a lot.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's basically taking care of like a grown child.
No, it is. You are. And, you want to make sure that they're comfortable, that, their needs is being met because they can't do for themselves within that industry. And I just love this industry because they're servants. That's how I look at it. They're servicing the people.
Yeah.
I just think it's a beautiful industry to provide that level of care or service to someone who don't have no one to be able to be there consistently. But at the same time, if you're paying your employees a low wage, they're gonna feel work. That's a lot of work.
You're not gonna be able to retain them.
Care of a baby. Yeah, a baby takes a lot of work.
Yeah, you paying me $7.25 to change somebody's diaper. I don't think you're gonna be able to keep me long.
Yeah, you have to see what is the market rates, and if you say, okay, okay, if I pay them at least, what that going rate is, if that's a problem, you need to reevaluate
So you just
your
hit it on. You
business.
just hit it on the head because somebody be like, "Hold up, you just said that I'm paying too much. Now you saying I might be paying too little." So you just like you said, understand what the fair market value
Yeah,
is, the going
understand
rate.
that. You don't fair market value could be $15, right?
Yeah.
And there you are paying $20. Fair market value could be $15 and there you are paying 10. You know what I'm saying? And different areas that you live in, according to where your business is located, it's going to be different, but you have to understand these markets. If you have a home care agency and you work in certain parts in Virginia, certain
Mm.
cities or counties, you have to understand those areas and what the community is like, what they're making in those particular areas to understand, someone in this particular area. And because the client is going to pay, I know I'm speaking a little fast, but especially if you have private pay clients.
It's just we got time. Just relax and chill.
Yeah,
You know
look.
what I mean?
So if you have private pay clients, right? The
Okay.
private pay clients are paying you a certain rate according to whatever area they are in.
Right.
So if they're in a certain part of a state, maybe that certain area they pay $30 an hour. So when you hire a caregiver, is it from that particular area, right? So now you can understand, okay, what's the rates for this area? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Maybe that's maybe a strategy that you could use. You may hire someone that's, your employee already or, from somewhere else. You just need to understand these different intricacies within the business, different moving parts so that you'll know how to move when it comes to that particular area.
So, okay, the clients that you work with, the business owners that have these agencies,
Mm-hmm.
do they control? Can they control the rate that they're being paid? So they'd be like, okay, instead of me being paid $22 an
Right.
hour, I'm gonna charge. I see that the fair market value for this type of work is 40.
Right.
Can they do that, or is they capped?
So it depends. I
Mm.
love private pay because they have control. Any business, excuse me, sorry, you want control. If you have control within the business, I think that's a great business, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can do something with that. So private pay clients, they definitely have all that control there. It's when you get paid through Medicaid and the insurance where you lose a lot of
So
control.
expound on that part right there.
Okay, so you lose a lot of control when, okay, so they get paid from Medicaid or the insurance, right? They get paid from those providers.
Okay.
So they have a set amount of money per hour that they're allowed to get paid per the client.
No matter the situation or anything like that.
Different areas,
Okay,
different
okay.
amounts, but if they're
They have a set amount.
yeah, they have a set
Okay.
amount. So I'm just for an example, let's say in Virginia, let's say it's $19.83 or something like that.
Okay.
So for that, if they get a client and they're paying through their Medicaid, then they're going to pay $19.83
Right.
per hour. So when you hire a caregiver, let's say the going rate $13, $14, as you can see, you have what? You have a $5 profit that the agency is going to make.
Yeah, but I'm over here. I'm paying them too much. I'm over
It
here paying them
depends.
because I'm being competitive.
It
I'm just saying,
depends.
me as the business owner, I'm trying to be competitive to get somebody to get on staff to take care of
Yeah,
this
so you could
client.
be paying more.
So I'm over here paying $16.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking at $3
Right.
before taxes and expenses.
Right.
So that's a problem that
Right.
if you in Medicaid or Medicare,
It's
are you facing these issues?
Yeah. So
You
I just want to say they got Medicaid, they get paid through insurance, they get paid through the VA. It's different ways.
those ones that's being controlled.
But the biggest ones I see where what I look at with my clients is through Medicaid, through the insurance, what they're allowed to get paid per hour.
So they don't have more control than private.
No, private pay,
They have a little more.
They have a
leeway.
lot more control, a lot.
So
Because
okay.
this is what I will say.
Mhm.
Well, go ahead. What was you about to say? I don't wanna cut
No,
you off.
it seemed like you had it on your mind.
I was just gonna say with Medicaid, they got an amount that they can make per hour, right? I just lost my whole train of thought. But go ahead. I want to.
Yeah, because I wanted to ask about with the like you said, they don't Medicaid and Medicare, they don't have a lot of control on the hourly wage.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't have control in that aspect, what's something else they don't have control in?
And what?
Like, do they? So if the government is it the government that's doing this? Like, who is controlling?
Well,
like,
yeah,
these
of
hourly-
course, yeah. The government
the
controls
government.
Medicaid.
So okay, if they are controlling the hourly wage, do they control like anything else? Like, do they control when they get
That's what I was
paid?
trying to say.
So like, yeah,
I was trying
so
to. That's exactly what I was trying to say.
okay,
They
so
don't
can you
have.
speak on that?
Yeah, they don't have no. They don't have that control because they have to wait 30 days, 60 days, maybe 90 days
To
before
what?
to get paid through the Medicaid or the insurance. It takes longer for them to get paid, which holds up their cash flow.
The agency, it takes them 30 to 60 days to get paid from the government.
Yeah, it can.
But
Yeah.
they want their money on
I
time.
for an example, I have I'm part of a community with advisors, and in there, one of them she has a client that was owed $30,000 from the insurance for her home care agency,
Yeah.
and they only paid 10% of that 30,000.
So they only got $3,000.
$3,000. So she was out of $27,000. Her agency was at a loss of $27,000.
And that was owed to them for that month.
I don't know which month it was for, but she just was supposed to be paid that. She just did not get it
And never received
for that
it.
particular client.
And that right there, like when you look at it, that article that you was reading, and it was talking about 80% of employees not staying, that probably take effect part
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
Like you holding up my money that I have to pay my employees
Right.
so we can keep this business going.
Yep.
But I'm waiting 30 to 60 days to get paid the money that's owed to me. And then on top of that, you only gave me 10% of it.
For real. It's it affects, especially with this, it affects a business.
Not only
ton.
the business, but anybody that's within, your
Yeah.
personal life, all that,
Everything is affected. That's why I love private pay, and you can have a mix of both. You can have private pay and insurance or Medicaid, however. But control is key factor in business. Like you need control because especially when you don't have control of the income or I would say your revenue, you have a problem.
Yeah, they got this saying, he that controls the what is that saying about?
I know what you're trying
He
to say,
had,
but I can't
he
remember
has
it.
he is this saying about he that has the goal
Oh, yeah.
has control or something like that. Whatever the
I know
saying
what you're
is,
talking about though.
man,
Yeah.
let me know what it is because I can't be thinking of all this stuff. But so we done went into
The high pay,
high
low
pay,
pay and no benefits.
low pay and no benefits.
Another one, I want to say another one is the competitive what is it? I think we did that one when we're talking about the competitiveness of the market,
Yeah.
We did that one.
So what about like okay, I didn't hired someone
Mhm.
and then I didn't got a client.
Mhm.
And then it's like, okay, but I ain't got enough staff or something like that. Do they be having like
Yes.
scheduling issues or anything like
Oh
that?
yeah, so scheduling issues is a big deal because if you're scheduling, right? Sometimes you can have a lot of times within this field, you can have your employees just going every which way to fill areas and positions because technically
That would
you're
be
not
embarrassing.
properly staffed. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-uh.
So you're moving your employees every which way, and a lot of times, I'm just
Employees ain't gonna want to do that. They just everywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
you
not
probably
gonna
gonna
do that.
have some, but you got me everywhere. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, a lot of times, the thing is the scheduling problem. This is what I want to say. I'm just trying to make sure I say it right. So they have the scheduling problem. The employee is every which way, but that's because they're not properly staffed, right? You have these employees, but what did you hire them for? What position, what area did you hire them for? Or are they just to take up that little, are they a runner? Are they just taking up this space for right now? Do we have more staff on payroll that we can rely on, that's dependable, that can have that one particular client and take care of them? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I get it.
So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to put it together, but
So the way it sound is like another reason that could cause somebody to have a high employee turnover is things is basically disorganized in the back office.
it's disorganized, it's inconsistent. When I go to work every day, I don't know what that's going to look like. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I have a schedule, but then I'm hopping everywhere on that schedule. I'm going over to this client's house. So and then you got to remember too, the clients are old. They could be older, they could be young, but let's just say they're seniors. They like who they like, and you got to warm up to them. it takes time for them to like you, to know you, because you're a stranger. So they get
Yeah.
warmed up to this
I'm
person. Then
seeing
they see a
somebody
new
new.
one.
I'm seeing somebody new
Yeah.
every week. I got somebody new.
I'm not saying that something is wrong with it. Maybe that's how you're structured, but maybe every client that you have don't have to see a new staff or a new
But
employee.
but that could be the problem why
It
they not
could be.
retaining, your patient or your client, whatever
Yeah.
you want to, and your
Clients.
employees.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because okay, the situation that I'm in, I can't even take on more employees, and then it could be because you overpaying somebody.
Right.
You know what I mean? You overpaying Susie, but Susie ain't doing $16 an hour worth of work.
For
You
real.
know what I mean? Is she really doing that?
Exactly.
And then the thing is, now because you overpaying this one person or two people, you can't even take on somebody to go to this other area that you need them at.
Exactly. That's very true.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm trying. I'm listening and I'm catching on, and I'm like, okay, I'm connecting the dots. Okay.
yeah, it's very true. This is a huge problem, and we just dialoguing about it. I mean, the home care agency owners, y'all will know,
Yeah, I know
exactly
y'all would know.
what the
Y'all in the
problems is.
industry.
But I mean, from my lens, from what I see, this is what I see. This is a big problem.
Mm.
You have to solve this problem. Be different in your industry. Figure out how to solve this problem, and that's what we do. That's what we come in. That's what I do.
So from what you've been seeing, the way that they've been trying to be different is I'm
Wages.
gonna pay them more.
Yep.
But the thing is, I'm paying them more, but I'm not getting that quality of
Care
that I need.
Yeah,
from
it's still the same problem. So now we know, okay, it's not just high wages that they need. You have to look deeper. What is really happening in here? How do they feel? Do they feel like you don't value them?
them.
Do you show that you appreciate them?
So the culture.
Yeah, the culture is important. That's why I say community. That's why I tell my clients, how does the community feel? We need that feeling, because if I feel like I'm a part of something, am I going to want to leave it?
No, not at all.
I'm not going to want to leave it. I'm going to want to stay, and I'm going to help build any way I can, and I'm going to want to grow within the company. If I see, and that's another thing, do they see opportunity to grow within your company? Do they see that? If that's not being shown to them, that's another reason I would leave. There's no room to grow.
I mean, every
stuck.
job that I worked at, I wanted to feel like I had opportunity to grow. I didn't just want to stay at one position. And if I felt like I didn't have opportunity to grow, I'm going looking somewhere else.
Yes, that, you know what? As we say this right now, I think that's one of the biggest issues right there. Do they have room to grow? Is there opportunity within your company for them to move up or to grow? I mean, what's there?
Did you put anything in place?
Right.
So it's like, okay, I have this system that they have opportunity.
Exactly. That's a big deal, because every job I work, I want to eventually get up to a higher position. I didn't want to stay there because I wanted to make more, and I want a different title.
I mean, if I come to McDonald's, I don't want to be working the fries, for 12 years. You know what I mean? I didn't see somebody that, they was working the fries for as long as I've been born.
Right.
It was a guy that, he was working there for a while. I'm like, man, you still here? Like, but I don't want to be that guy.
You want to grow.
You know what I mean? I want to be able to grow because time's getting hard.
Yeah, and you know what? You got to know who in your staff, what employees do you have that are looking for growth and opportunity?
Oh, you should see.
That should be a part of your hiring process. Who is looking for those things? You know what I'm saying? You got to think outside. Now you got to think how big corporate thinks. Who's looking to grow? Who's looking to stay at the position that they're in currently? Who is comfortable? You might be dealing with older employees, right? Mm-hmm. And they're more stable. They're going to be, okay, they're comfortable. But you may have younger ones. They may want to grow. The older ones may be like, okay, we're good. This is perfect. I like this. I ain't got to do nothing else. This is all I got to do. I'm comfortable here. But you need to know who is looking for that.
So, okay, by them, because you said that, in the healthcare industry,
mm-hmm.
They could have a problem of them being disorganized, and then by them being disorganized, they trying to find ways to be competitive.
Right.
So by them being disorganized, and then we know by us dealing with a lot of businesses, you think within the healthcare industry it could come from them possibly growing too fast?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, because when you grow too fast, you don't have systems processes and people in place.
Yeah.
You know, you missing some of those three. You're missing
You're missing something.
because you're growing too fast. You didn't prepare. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying everything needs to be perfect before you go and start your business, or we're already talking about clients that's already within their business. Everything don't have to be perfect, but if you're trying to scale, if you're in that phase, then something is wrong with the back office.
Yeah,
That's not allowing
it's
it
just
to
like
scale.
it's just like, man, I can't go pick up 10 pounds of bricks if I got a 1 pound bucket. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like I need to at least try to get a bigger bucket.
And guess what's gonna cause you to do?
What?
You're gonna cause you to do more work because now you
I
gotta
gotta
take a
keep
brick.
coming a brick at a
brick
time.
at a
A brick
time.
at a time.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure, okay, let me make sure this bucket is getting a little bit bigger.
Yes.
You know, let me fix this. And then I make the work easier on
Yes,
myself.
yes. Work smarter, not harder.
So within the industry that you deal with, you help these people within this industry, these business owners. Do you feel like they be working harder? You know,
Yes. I feel like they work harder because the smarter way to work. I mean, honestly, we're not educated enough on business to understand how to run a business. We know how to work in the business.
we
as
just
the
good at that
expert.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, we're a good employee of our business, but running the business, knowing the business, how it should run and function and operate, we don't know that. You know, we don't have that information. Within our community, that education is scarce when it comes to running a business.
Yeah.
So that I blame it on that, you know, and then on top of that too, you got to make sure you don't have a scarcity mindset, you know, or a scared type of mentality where you want to take the long route to get whatever you need to get done for the business.
And don't be cutting corners.
Yeah, and that's
cutting
exactly what I'm saying.
corners. You know, and then when you cutting corners within any industry you in, now it's costing you more.
Yeah.
Now it's costing you even more time.
Yep.
You know everything, and then eventually you burn out.
Yes.
You don't even want to stay in the industry.
Exactly, because when you cut corners, you're gonna have to go back and fix those corners.
Just like up in the previous video that we did, toxic clients.
Yeah.
That's how you end up with toxic clients and toxic employees because of this organization.
For real,
You know
this organization is real. It's a real thing. You have to have some sort of organization within your business. You just have to think as if you were working for someone else's business. You got to put your mindset and yourself in those shoes, and then that should help you. If you can't do that, then something's wrong. Something's wrong. If you can't think back to being an employee, you don't have enough experience. But you should be able to if you're in the process, if you're scaling. If you're making $500,000 or more, you should definitely be able to think back to an employee because you should know, what you did, what they implemented, what they allowed. You got to start thinking like that, because if you think that the employee is thinking like the owner, now we have a problem.
You know something, you said something and it brought something to my mind. Like we was talking about how, okay, in that industry, they could end up growing fast.
Right.
And they wasn't prepared for it. And by them not being prepared for it, they're making 20,000 or more a month, things of that nature. And by them not being prepared for it, they got this money. And then all of a sudden, I done seen it in different industries. Instead of them taking that money and reinvesting it back into their business, they go put it somewhere else.
Right. Oh,
I've seen it in so many different industries.
Yeah, and then
you doing hospice or whatever. You in the home care industry. You good at that.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, I'm about to start a trucking business. Don't know anything about.
I'm going into real estate. First of all, we need the first baby that you have. That first baby needs to grow up to be an adult.
Make sure it's running like a machine.
Yes. So when it's at an adult stage, it can run without you. Now you can take money from that baby that used to be a baby that's an adult now, and put in the other baby.
Yeah,
get that going.
It's like, okay, if you still see you're in the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
You're playing almost every position in that business. Make sure you get yourself out of that position before you go start another business.
Yes.
And then it's like something is not going to work out.
No, because you can't run two businesses at once, and
especially if you playing every hat up in there. You the marketer, the
salesman,
the salesman,
customer
you
service
everything,
rep.
you everything up in this business. You got to take care of the finances
Yeah.
that you don't even like the numbers. You
Right.
got to take care of the paperwork.
Yep.
And you got some money coming in by the grace of God. Now you about to go take that money. Oh, I'm about to start trucking.
Yeah.
Now it's just you repeating cycle.
Yeah.
It's broken over here. Now you about to take this money and start something else and
Yes.
break that.
I completely
Don't make
agree.
sense.
Yeah. They fix the first baby first. I call them babies because that's really what it's
I
like.
mean, it is
You
because
gotta nurture 'em.
a baby requires a lot of attention.
They do. They do.
And if you don't do right by them, oh, trust and believe, they gonna let you know.
Yeah, so the business let you know. How do it let you know? You ain't got no cash in your pocket.
You ain't
Your
keeping
cash
no,
flow is low.
and you
to
ain't keeping
none.
no employees.
Yeah.
You ain't keeping no clients, and
Yeah.
that's why that cash flow is low.
Yeah, so it will tell you, yes. So I think that's important. That one thing, the high pay and then the ones that we discussed, those are so important for them to understand. I think by understanding that, it will kind of give them a better idea of kind of what to look at within the industry that they're in.
And thing is, because of you help, I see you help your clients with this, and like I was saying, you help the client where just with one of those issues, it helped her business to grow.
What, 25%?
Within you said
3 weeks.
3 weeks. So this is, you're not just speaking on problems and not able to help them resolve it. So, how can anybody get in contact with you, or you saying, hey, I didn't took as many as I want? Can they contact you?
Yeah, they can contact us.
So how would that process be?
So what they would first do, we have a scheduling. They can schedule with us, and we'll just have a conversation where we kind of talk about their business to kind of see what they have going on, where they're currently at.
Yeah.
And then from there, we'll see, how they're performing, and then we can see about doing an assessment on their business. And then to see what that looks like with working with us. And if they like that, then we move forward and really start diving into their business, where we kind of can look at, how they're performing, what drivers within their business, what's off, what is allowing them to not hit their targets,
So can I get one of the drivers for the people, like we're talking about employee retention, like what driver is that?
So with employee retention, to keep your employees, it's not necessarily.
Is that I know, because in our previous videos, if y'all go back, we got the revenue, the profit. So what category is that
employee retention can affect your revenue within your business.
The revenue.
It can affect your revenue. It can affect all three. Revenue, your profit, and your cash flow.
And then you got that other video that's coming out, cash flow. So
yeah, we got that one coming out. So employee retention, I say it affects. I say definitely the revenue, right? Because if you got to keep hiring for the same position, okay, now you might have a hiring bonus, right? So maybe you have a hiring bonus of $200. So every time you have a new hire, you're giving them a $200 bonus if they stay for whatever amount of time. Now that $200 adding up, because maybe you had to hire 3 or 4 people for that same position.
Look, hey, if I was y'all, that little jewel that she gave, I'll use that. I'll use that.
Yeah, so it affects a lot of drivers, but employee retention, it's a big deal. It's not like a specific driver, but it affects like your payroll, and that's really what it goes into. Employee retention, it'll go into your payroll expenses. That's a driver.
What do you mean by
so
that?
Because your pay
expenses.
Your employee retention,
you said expenses, right?
Your payroll expenses.
Okay, what does that mean?
Because your payroll is in your profit drivers, right?
Okay.
So your revenue is what you make. Your profit is what you're actually selling. And I think I said that backwards. I said it backwards. Your revenue is what did I just say? I said a little backwards. Your profit is what you make, right? So in your profit drivers, you have your your payroll expenses.
Okay.
Your payroll expenses can either be very high or it can be very low, or it could be in between. So by you having to keep higher for the same position 3 and 4 times, and let's say you have that bonus we was talking about, $200 sign-on bonus. Okay, 2, 4, 6, that's $800 that then came out from your payroll, that went to payroll, right?
Yeah.
So now we're paying $800 more because we had to hire the same position, an employee for the same position 4 times. So it's affecting our payroll expenses. It's making it higher.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so so that it affects that.
So I'm seeing that it's very important, man. Like these numbers, and then the thing is, if I'm only good at what I do, I'm not gonna understand that.
Right.
These expenses, and this is affecting my business.
Right.
But yeah,
I was gonna say, I gotta correct myself. Revenue is what you sell, profit is what you make, and your cash flow is what you keep.
Okay.
So that's important.
So what do you have any other jewels, or did you have anything that you would like to leave the people with, or anything like that?
I would just say to be mindful of your business, be mindful of your employees. You want me to give tips on here, or just like
whatever you feel.
I would say you want to know what your employees are thinking and how they're feeling about working for your company. So that should kind of help you right there. Like, that's important to know. Once you know that, it will kind of help shape the way that, you should kind of maneuver around there, what you should be implementing, what you shouldn't. You really want to get that feedback from them.
Yeah, and most definitely, they should, if you having this issue with employee retention or turnover,
right,
they should most definitely want to contact you, because it's not something that you just talking about and you read. This is something you are actually helping your clients with, that's in this industry, to deal with, and you're finding resolves for these issues.
Yeah.
And it's helping their business to grow and things of that nature.
Right.
So, it'll be good. Like, if you have this issue, hey, contact.
Yeah, definitely reach out, schedule an appointment with us. It's not going to be a long appointment. We just kind of want to talk about you, your goals and what's happening within your business, to kind of see where you're at. And then we go from there, we just having a conversation.
Right.
That's all it is.
Yeah. So, we're going to cut this one short.
Okay.
And, did you have anything to say?
No, I don't have
I know it. Okay.
No, I'm good.
So, man, we appreciate y'all, listening in again. Because it was a nice short topic.
Yeah,
man. So 80%.
Yeah, and tell us what you think. I mean, 80% is high.
I mean, that's crazy how
it is.
You in this industry, are you dealing with that?
Yes. Do you have this problem, and what do you think you should be doing to solve it? Tell us what you think. We want to know.
Like, what have you been trying? And then did it work? And if it didn't work, you don't want to wait too late, and then it's like, now I'm out of business.
Right.
And contact her. She have the results that is like, okay, this is working.
Right.
And and then the thing is, like, I just can't see myself not, wanting to stay. I can't see myself wanting to stay in that position.
Right. No, definitely not. Not if you're trying to grow. If you're trying to grow your business, you don't like wearing all the hats in your business, and you really want to fix whatever problems within your industry, with the home care agency, schedule an appointment. I mean, it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
It's just a conversation.
So with that, we're going to leave it at that, and y'all have a good one.
See y'all later.